Have you ever been asked to take a photo and thought, man, I do not want to take this photo. I'm heavier than I should be. I don't really feel attractive, and I do not want to take this photo. Fast forward 5 years, you look back at the photo you took that day and you're like, hey, I was thinner then than I am now. It's something that happens to most of us. And what I want to do is I want to empower you to love yourself on the way to who you want to be. I believe the most important conversations that you and I have are the conversations that we have with ourselves. And a lot of us have spent a lot of energy undermining our confidence, undermining our ideas, undermining our insights. We undermine ourselves to the point of making it seem as if God made a mistake in creating us the way that we are. I want to start by saying that if you are alive and there's breath in your body, that is a sign that you are supposed to be here and that you are enough. One of the main factors in negative self-talk is the fact that our perception of ourselves is normally skewed. I heard a quote that says, you behave in a manner that is consistent with the way you see yourself. And so the way you see yourself is having a direct connection to the results you're getting. It's having a direct effect to all of the things that are happening in your life. The main issue with negative self-talk is that negative self-talk, it undermines our self-confidence and it undermines our motivation. In order to be a success, one of the major factors in any success equation is self-confidence. One of the major factors is the belief that you can. You can even interview successful authors. You can interview successful actors, or you can interview anyone who's a success in any field and ask them, what was one of the things that you had to overcome? And one of the things that we often hear is they'll say, I had to believe that I could do it. One of the biggest hurdles to our success is believing that, yes, we can do it. Regardless of where we're at in life, we need to begin to make the little forward steps that allow us to reshape what we see when we look at ourselves in the mirror. It is ultimately our challenge to love ourselves on the way to who we want to be. Research has shown that the brain can adapt and change throughout a person's life. This means that with practice and intentional effort, you and I can begin to rewire our negative thought patterns. I'm a firm believer that our words create our reality. Have you ever been around someone when something happens and they say, called it, happened just like I thought? And you sitting there thinking, well, first of all, congratulations. Here's your gold star for calling it. But since you are so good at this, why don't you call something good down? Why don't you call $1 million down since you're so good at calling stuff? Our words create our reality. There was this science experiment. A scientist took 3 jars. He wanted 3 jars of rice, and he labeled the 3 jars in 3 different manners. The first jar had "you're an idiot" on it. The second jar had "thank you." And the third jar, he didn't put any label on it. And so what he would do is every morning he would get up and he would speak over the rice, whatever was on the label. So every morning he would speak the negative energy of "you're an idiot" over jar number 1. He would speak the positive energy of "thank you, you're thriving" over jar number 2. And then jar 3, he just left alone. His science experiment found that jar 1 began to rot and began to sour. Jar 2 began to thrive, and jar 3 began to rot as well. So jar 1 had a terrible smell. It was rotten. It was souring. Jar 2 that had the positive word spoken over it was actually thriving, and jar 3 was failing as well. And so what this is saying is the worst you can do is speak negative words. The second worst you can do is to speak nothing. But the best that you can do is to begin to speak positive words and positive affirmations into your life and over your situation. The thing about negative self-talk is that it has become a pattern. And so one of the tricks that you can do to begin to reframe the words that you speak, and I love this, I got this from Terry Savelle Foy, but one of the things that she says to do is after you make a statement of yourself, about yourself, finish that statement with, and that's just the way I want it. So if you are looking in the mirror and you are saying, I'm fat, according to this principle, you would say, and that's just the way I want it. If you're looking at your bank account and you're saying, I'm broke, and according to this principle, you would say, and that's just the way I want it. I'll never be anything, and that's just the way I want it. And what you will do is you will begin to hear yourself, and you will begin to realize how often you speak negative words over yourself, and you can begin to challenge yourself to say, no, that's not just the way I want it. I'm going to switch it with something positive. I am thriving and I'm enjoying life, and that's just the way I want it. I have more money than I even know what to do with, and that's just the way I want it. Your words create your reality. Choose your words wisely. Another thing to consider when it comes to our negative self-talk is the power of self-compassion. Practicing self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness that you would give to a friend. Treating yourself with the same kindness that you would give to someone that you truly care about and you really, really love. Ultimately, self-compassion and being patient with yourself and offering yourself grace, it can lead to a greater emotional well-being. And you need that greater emotional well-being to be able to see past your perspective of yourself. One of the things that we do is we tend to downplay our own accomplishments. We tend to downplay our own accomplishments, whether they're big or they're small. Now, you should not be walking around smelling yourself like the old folks used to say. But you want to get to the point where you can acknowledge when you've done a good job, whether big or small. And really, in order to build this self-confidence, it's going to take you doing it in the little things. Self-confidence is built in the little wins of life. And what happens is you accomplish something, you celebrate it, and then you gain a little confidence. And then the next time you accomplish something, you celebrate it and you gain a little confidence. And the next time you accomplish something, you celebrate it and you gain a little confidence. And after a while, step by step, bit by bit, you are developing yourself into a more confident, self-compassionate person. The first step that anyone can take to build compassion is to begin to acknowledge your own achievements. Start there and then see where it takes you. Another thing that holds us back is our unrealistic expectations. Sometimes we place the most unrealistic expectations on ourselves. We frame everything that we are supposed to do through the lens of perfection. And when we set the target of perfection and we don't end up hitting perfection, which is unattainable in the first place, we end up defeated, we end up disappointed, and we start beating ourselves up. What we need to do is challenge ourselves to adopt a growth mindset. How do you eat an elephant? One bit at a time. So what this is saying is it's saying have the mindset that growth is a journey and not a destination, like I often say. And I'm not going to get it perfect, but bit by bit, as I continue in the right direction, I'm going to get to where I want to be. And there's going to be times where it's ugly. There's going to be times where I don't feel good. There's going to be some bad days. There's going to be some good days. But what's more important than perfection is the direction that you're going in. When it comes to the way you deal with yourself, don't fear mistakes or criticism. but see them as a learning opportunity. See them as, okay, I didn't know that, but I know now. And when you know better, you can do better. And when you do better, not only do you improve your own life, but you set yourself up to be able to help other people. Another reason that we participate in negative self-talk is comparison. Comparison kills. Comparison is detrimental in many ways. Never measure yourself by your neighbor's report card. What's for you is for you. And it's going to manifest in the timing that you are most physically, mentally ready to take on whatever it is. So there's no need to force it, and there's no need to constantly compare. You are really in a two-person race. The two people are the person you want to be, who is moving towards a bright future, versus the person you used to be, who is letting go of all that was in the past. And as long as you focus on you and not on other people, you will actually move the needle a lot faster than those that are constantly obsessed with comparing their lives to other people. It should be our goal to seek inspiration and not comparison. But ultimately, we need to measure our success by our own measuring stick rather than seeking external approval. It's important to acknowledge that some want to do better, but life has beat them up and they've encountered so many challenges to the point where they feel a heavy weight, and it's hard to be positive. With this, it's important that we reframe past failures as learning experiences. In going through what you went through, you gained knowledge. In going through what you went through, you've gained tools for your toolbox. In going through what you went through, you are now stronger, you are now more capable, and you are now able to help pull somebody else out that is in the same situation that you just got out of. And so there's definitely a win in every failure. There's definitely a win in your mistakes. When it comes to negative self-talk, in order to begin to speak to ourselves more positively, we have to do the work of forgiving ourselves for the past mistakes. We have to forgive ourselves for the times that we didn't get it right. Sometimes it's a lot easier to forgive other people than it is to forgive yourself. But in forgiving yourself, you're freeing yourself and you're allowing yourself to live a life that is open to opportunities, that is open to love, that is open to peace, and that is open to fulfillment. We have to forgive ourselves. When it comes to negative self-talk, it's also important that we deal with past traumas and past negative experiences. Those that do not heal properly pass the hurt. And now instead of it just being an issue for you, it becomes an issue for all of your loved ones as well. And the last thing you want to do is be in the position where you're so hurt and you have not allowed yourself to heal to the degree that you begin to pass down trauma after trauma after trauma. And now all of your life is filled with trauma and drama, all because you wouldn't deal with you and you wouldn't deal with those past negative experiences. Those that do not heal pass the hurt. It's a general rule of thumb that anytime that you and I do not do the work to heal the traumas of our past, they end up openly displayed through negative behavior. So we want to make sure that we are doing whatever it takes to heal ourselves and to be the best that we can be for the people that are in our lives as well. When it comes to your self-love journey, I want you to focus on the process and not the outcome. Focusing on the outcome, it makes it seem more distant. And so one of the things that I want to challenge you with is the self-love challenge. And the self-love challenge is going to be to speak well over yourself, to speak positivity over yourself. Let's try for 1 week to not allow ourselves to get away with speaking anything negative over ourselves. And if you do, because there's a chance that you will, I just want you to correct it in the moment and say, you know what? No, that's not true. So that means that if you are saying, I'll never be good at this, you correct it in the moment and you say, that's not true. I could be good at this. I just need more reps. I need more times, but it is a lie that I am never going to be good at this. Correct it and challenge yourself. Also use that tool of, and that's just the way I want it after you say certain things about yourself, all right? Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm on it with you, and I'll catch you on the next one.